inhibitions. Baby, there's nothing on it.
Time right now is 8:40, and the term intermittent fasting has been making headlines lately, with health professionals citing numerous benefits from the increased brain power, weight loss, to improved life expectancy. Nurse practitioner Cynthia Thurlow recently wrote the article, How Intermittent Fasting is a Game Changer for Women, so she's here now with more. So let's break it down first. What does the term intermittent fasting mean?
Yeah, so basically it just means you're going through periods of the day where you're not eating. And the way to really think about it is that you can just knock out your breakfast for the morning. So it's designed to really be an opportunity for your body to take a break from digestion. And I really look at it as really simplifying your food regimen. You know, you're going to eat 2 meals a day instead of 3.
So why is it important, though, for your body to take a break from digestion?
Yeah, so what's interesting is over the last 50+ years or so, we as a nation have really gotten into this mindset where we have to be grazing all day long, we need to be eating every 2 or 3 hours. What that does is it puts tremendous stress and strain on our organs of digestion, and namely, you know, pancreas, our adrenal glands, and also our liver, to actually help process a lot of that food. And it also impacts our blood sugar. So this is a way where we can keep our blood sugar much more stable, and we're either in a fed or a fasted state. That's really the focus.
So normally I think when people hear the word fasting, they're thinking that you're fasting for 2 or 3 days. Correct. Or it's a prolonged period. But you've broken it down to 16 on 16 off, 8 on.
Right, and really, you know, I do have other clients, including myself. I mean, I will really go about 14 hours. And so some people prefer to just have a 6-hour window in which they eat, or 8 hours. And there's no right or wrong way to do it. Some people are shift workers, and so they have to change the hours of which they feed. But it's designed that every person can pick the time frame that works best for them. I have a couple clients, like I was mentioning before, that will go 24 hours once a week, and I don't necessarily ascribe to that philosophy, but finding a time frame or a window in which it makes the most sense for you to not be eating.
Now, I don't want people to be confused, because you're not saying don't eat for 16 hours and then that 8-hour window eat everything.
Correct.
It's just you still have to have a balanced
Correct.
meal. Correct. During that 8-hour window.
Correct. And some people will eat, you know, they may eat at 10, 2, and 6, and that's what works best for them. I'm not advocating that people restrict. I'm advocating that they be smart about the choices that they're making.
So what are the health benefits of this?
Yeah, so we know that it improves life expectancy. We know it stabilizes your blood sugar, fuels fat loss, which for women is always a hot topic, can definitely you know, contribute to the use of stored fat stores to help kind of keep your blood sugar stable. And for many people, that's a huge attribute that they really want to focus on. So those are the key areas that we focus on, but you can also see that, you know, you'll have some diabetics that'll improve their blood sugars enough they can get off of medications. Oftentimes can improve immune function in the body, because you're not constantly, you know, driving up the body's difficulty of having to process food.
So now there are some things you can have during that off window.
Correct. And so things that don't provoke an insulin response. So you can have water, you can have herbal teas, you can have coffee. The key is that you don't want to be putting sugar, and you don't want to be putting fat, because that's going to provoke that insulin response. So I always say, you know, lemons, limes, these are some artesian waters. You know, I always recommend that people, you know, there's a variety of different teas you can try, or coffees. Those are also completely reasonable.
Now, who do you not recommend participate?
And that's an important distinction. So anyone who has a history of disordered eating, if they're history of anorexia, bulimia, or binge eating, they have really maladaptive processes of looking at food. I wouldn't recommend that they do it. Anyone that's a brittle diabetic, if they are unaware when their blood sugars get low, that would not be a good idea. Someone who's actively dealing with any adrenal or thyroid issues in an acute phase, it would put another stressor on the body, or someone who's recovering from surgery. If you've just had surgery or acute illness, not a good time to try this. But otherwise, is a good technique for people to employ.